Today we are back and we're talking about 10 slow fashion sustainable brands that you should have on your radar in 2025. I love to do these roundups a few times a year as and when I discover new brands, slow fashion brands, brands that are doing really unique, interesting things and following sustainable practices. And I have 10 brands that are fairly new to me that I want to share with you today. In at number 1, we have a brand I've done a whole dedicated review on. If you haven't seen that, I will leave it linked in the cards. The brand is called Louise Damas. They were founded in Paris in 2012 when Louise, who is fully self-taught, started creating these jewelry pieces herself. She began selling them at markets, eventually on Instagram, and then a website, and the brand has grown rapidly since then. Their pieces are all very vintage inspired, very romantic and Parisian. If you have a similar style to me, I suspect you will love a lot of their items. I have a few pieces. I did a whole unboxing in my previous video, so if you want to see a more in-depth review of the pieces and what I think of them, first impressions, then I would go and watch that after this video. But basically I've been wearing these pieces non-stop for the last 2 months or so, and I absolutely love them still. So much in fact that I actually added another piece to my collection from the brand. I used my own discount code to buy this, so if you don't know, I do have a discount code with the brand. It will get you 15% off, and I used my own discount code to purchase another necklace from them because I've loved the 2 necklaces. I'm actually wearing one today that I have from them so much that I really wanted to add a sterling silver piece from them into my collection. So the necklaces I already own are from the gold collection. All of their gold that they use is 24 karat and it is fully recycled and RJC certified, which basically means it is sustainably and ethically sourced. This beautiful pearl shell necklace is one of my favorites. I feel like it goes so well with a bright summer dress like I'm wearing today. And then the other piece I have from their gold range is this gorgeous floral number. This is a pendant necklace. It sits slightly lower, so actually you can layer it with the one I'm wearing quite well, and you can layer it with a lot of necklaces that are a little bit shorter like this one because it does sit sort of here on the neck. You'll see in the cutaways it's slightly longer length, and I absolutely love this one as well. So I really wanted to try their sterling silver because they do have some sterling silver pieces within their collection, and I love to mix my metals. I love to have a bit of both in my collection, and when I saw this particular necklace, I knew I had to get it because it is so beautiful and again so vintage inspired. So it is this heart-shaped locket necklace in sterling 925 silver. It is so beautiful. The details of it are so gorgeous. It has this floral design on it and it is a functioning locket. So if you open it up, it has Louise Damas inscribed on the inside, and you can put something in there if you want, but I absolutely loved this. They had a couple of heart-shaped pieces in sterling silver as well as in gold, and it was so difficult to pick just one, to be honest, but I really loved that this felt like an antique locket, a vintage locket, something that you could have found 100 years ago, and I've been really enjoying wearing this with more of my cool-toned outfits. I just think it pairs so beautifully with all of the blues and greens in my wardrobe. And I've also been loving my jewelry wallet, which I've been keeping all of the pieces stored safely in. If you don't know, if you didn't see my last video, this is a collaboration between Louise Damas and Favette, one of my other small slow fashion favorite brands. They are a leather brand and they decided to collaborate on this jewelry wallet. So this is the leather that Favette uses with kind of the gold emblem that is very reminiscent of some of the Louise Damas jewelry. And of course you can use this to store all of your jewelry from Louise Damas or from other brands, and I just absolutely love this. It's really functional. And talking about slow fashion and sustainable practices, my final point with Louise Damas I did want to mention is that they do offer a repair and regilding service. So if you do find over the lifetime of your jewelry it breaks, it needs repairing, or it needs regilding, so a lot of their pieces are gilded in the 24 karat gold, including this one here and some of my other gold pieces. If you find you ever need that regilded, you can send it off to them and they will do that, and that is a lifetime service. So I find that that is really a testament to the fact that they want these pieces to be in your collection for a very long time. As I said, I will be using my discount code if I do make any more purchases from them, and of course I would want you to do the same, so I'll leave that on the screen and in the description box down below. That will get you 15% off your order. Okay, moving on to clothing for brand number 2. This second slow fashion brand is called Andion Clothing. I discovered them a few months ago. They are a Spanish mother and daughter duo. hand making clothes to order. So the real USP with this brand is that every single piece that they advertise on their website is custom made, which means that if you go onto the website, you'll see when you go to place an order, you choose the item you want, you put in all of your measurements, and it's very specific, so it will be tailored to you, and they use your measurements to create that piece custom made, which I think is so cool. The prices aren't crazy considering these pieces are custom tailored to you personally. I think actually the prices are very reasonable, especially for it being such a small sustainable brand, and I love all the designs they have. It's very up my street. It is very Sussan influenced or Sussan adjacent. They have a lot of ruffly blouses, romantic pieces, lots of pattern and colour. So if you like Sussan but you want something a little bit more slow fashion focused, and also you want perhaps more unique pieces that you don't see on everyone, which is very much the case I find with Sussan pieces these days, then this would be a great brand to check out. I've also heard through the grapevine that they are actually releasing a collection with Sussan this summer, so I will be very intrigued and interested to see what that is like when it comes along. Next up we have footwear, and this is a brand I've actually recently discovered and recently ordered from. They're called Anonymous Copenhagen. They are a Danish footwear brand, and their sustainable USP is that they use leather exclusively. That is a byproduct of the food industry. So they aren't using or creating new leather for the purposes of making footwear. They are taking the leather that is an inevitable part of the food industry, that is a byproduct of that, and, you know, utilizing that to make sure it doesn't go to waste, which I personally love. They are B Corp certified, and they work with artisans in Portugal to make their footwear. They also make a few bags, but they are predominantly a shoewear brand. And I actually recently ordered these sandals from them. I was on the hunt for a pair of summer sandals, and I find sandals really tricky because you want them to be cute, you want them to be chic, but you also need them to be comfortable, right? So I was looking for a long time for a pair that fit both of those, ticked both of those boxes, and I haven't tried these yet, although if they do come in time, I might insert a clip into this video as I'm editing on my unboxing and first impressions of them. Hopefully they will come in time before this video goes live. But yeah, I am really excited to receive them. I think these are absolutely beautiful. They ticked all of my boxes in terms of the design, and actually I put on Instagram that I'd ordered these, and a lot of people messaged me to say that they already own them, they love them, and they are really comfortable. You can just kind of tell from the pictures that they should be, right? I think you can tell the leather looks nice and soft. The design doesn't look too harsh. I find often with sandals, if they have a really hard back or lots of different straps that go around your toes or around your feet, it can just make them rub and feel really uncomfortable. But these look like they could be promising. And the best part is they come in about 10 different colors. They come in a few different leathers. They come in suede, they come in a grained calf leather and a smooth calf leather and lots of different colors as well. So there's lots of variety to choose from. So I was very excited to discover this new brand to me. Moving back to clothing, and the first British brand on the list, and the brand is by Soren. They're a brand I've mentioned here and there a couple of times before when people have asked me for recommendations, and they are a brand that I think they were founded in around 2021. They are female founded and exclusively female run, and they are a very slow fashion brand. They only produce about 10 items total, and they very rarely have new pieces. I think they design and release just a handful of new pieces each year. They specialize in these gilets. They are kind of like a checked wool gilet. They come in a few different colors. They're very on trend at the moment, but also quite a timeless piece, and they do them in about 3 sizes, but they are, I think, designed to be worn quite oversized, so they can fit a lot of different people. They also do a jacket version if you want something with sleeves, and I've been very intrigued. They recently released a pink one, a gorgeous pink gilet with these beautiful embroidered buttons. They were embroidered by another small fashion, slow fashion brand. Can't remember exactly who, but I will leave the name on screen. It was a collaborative design, and it was just so beautiful. You could tell that the thought that was put into the piece was next level. The quality of the materials looks amazing as well, and everything is handmade in the UK. Next up, we have a Spanish clothing brand. Now, I'm not even going to try and pronounce the name of this brand because I just have absolutely no idea how to pronounce this. So I'm just going to put it on screen. I couldn't really find much information on them, to be honest. They have a very, very small about me bio on their website, but there is really no information about the history of the brand and even the sustainability practices. So I don't necessarily know how sustainable they are, but they are a small fashion brand. They are a slow fashion brand. They are making clothing in relatively small quantities. And I noticed when I went to their website, there weren't any new pieces compared to when I'd gone onto the website like 3 months ago. So it's obvious that they are not producing lots of new collections and clothing each week or even each month. So that is good to see. But they have some really quirky, interesting designs. I feel like they are quite trendy. They have a definite Spanish flair, but I do feel like, you know, when you see clothing on influencers and you just think, where did they get that? That's very unique. It looks like it's definitely not off the high street. It's definitely not a very generic piece you would find on ASOS. Their vibe reminds me a little bit of the second brand we talked about, Andion Clothing, in that they do a lot of these ruffle collars, romantic frilly blouses, but they do slightly more quirky designs, I would say, something that's slightly more modern. A little bit, it does feel quite Instagram influencer to me, I will admit, but in a fun way, in a quirky way, and they're definitely a brand I would be interested in trying. We are heading over to the other side of the world now for the next brand. They're called Meadow, and they are an Australian clothing brand. They have a very feminine, quite youthful aesthetic, I would say. They're almost a little bit like Christy Dawn, but more youthful. I feel like their styles are very, very girly, almost childlike, but in a nice way. So a lot of pink, a lot of lace, a lot of ruffles, a lot of florals. If you like an overly girly aesthetic, you are going to love this brand. All natural fibers, all produced in small quantities. I believe they are female founded and female run as well. And I would love to try them. I don't know what the import taxes and duties would be like to the UK. I'd have to look into that because, as I said, they are Australian, which kind of makes me a little bit nervous. But actually the prices are fairly reasonable. I say they're similar to Christy Dawn and even Lovann, but the prices are much more affordable. They kind of range from the 100 to £150 mark. They actually have a skirt that's very similar to the Lovann Sebastian skirt. You know, that infamous skirt that everyone seems to be wearing? They have one that looks a little bit longer actually, but very similar with the trims on the end, and it is much more affordable. So if you're looking for a more affordable alternative to that skirt, then I might suggest looking at that. But yeah, I do love a lot of their pieces. Very, very girly, very pretty, very delicate, very summery naturally because they are an Australian brand. Next up, I have a bag brand for you. There is only one bag brand in this video because, to be honest, I've reviewed so many small, slow fashion bag brands at this point that I feel like I've kind of talked about them all. My favourites being Favette, as you know, and also what others? Barakami that I recently just reviewed are another favourite. But yeah, I do have a lot of small, slow fashion bag brands, but this particular one is new to me. I discovered them recently. They are called LeParmentier. Probably butchering that. They are designed in Paris, made in Italy, like a lot of these bag brands are. And I would say that their price point is actually a little bit lower than a lot of the other mid-range bag brands that I review and talk about on my channel. So if those are a little bit out of your budget and you're looking for something, a lot of their bags are actually under £200. And they are, as I said, Italian leather, designed in Paris. They look really beautiful. They have some really classic modern designs. Then I would definitely check out this brand because, as I said, most of their bags range from about £190 to about £250. Brand was born in 2016, and I'm going to read you their slogan because actually, funnily enough, I think their slogan is very similar to the ethos behind my YouTube channel as a whole. So it says they aim to redefine the allure of super brands by offering conscious luxury, pieces that stand out with dynamic designs that excel in craftsmanship, in uniqueness and affordability. Next up, we have a really interesting brand who use exclusively upcycled and dead stock fabric. So they don't create any new fabric. They're purely using fabric that already exists, that may go to landfill otherwise, to make their collections, which I really love. I think they were opened in 2021, but I couldn't 100% tell from their website. All of their clothing is made in Paris. It has, to me, a very similar vibe to Rouge. So if you like that very Parisian, romantic, very kind of feminine vibe of rouge, but you want something perhaps a little bit smaller and using dead stock fabric, then I would highly recommend checking them out. I have not said their name because again, it's another one that I don't really want to pronounce because I know I will butcher it. But I really like their bags in particular, actually. They have some really cute basket bags that again feel very rouge inspired. And again, they're like fairly affordable, around 150 euros or so. Very pretty, very Parisian, very French looking. So I had to mention those because I love any time that brands use dead stock fabric. I think it's such a good initiative, and especially a brand that is 100% doing that. I think that's really impressive. In at number 9, we have a linen dedicated brand. So if you love to wear linen in the summer, then this brand might be one to check out. They were founded in 2021 as well. Their name actually comes from the words for linen in Chinese and French combined. And coincidentally, that word apparently also means clever in French. So it's a little bit of wordplay. And the founder is Chinese, so that's where the Chinese aspect of it comes from. And she has worked in Paris as a fashion buyer and in London for the last 10 years. It says on their website they are all about that slow pace, slow fashion lifestyle, zero waste as well. All of their pieces are produced in Portugal with ethical European linen. They mostly make blouses, although I do think they make a few shorts as well, but they do these collared blouses in different colors of linen. Again, very feminine, very on trend at the moment. I've definitely seen a few of these on Instagram, but also they have some more classic pieces. If you don't fancy something very feminine, like the collared blouse, they have a few blouses without collars and button-down shirts as well. So again, if you are a linen fan, then I would definitely recommend checking them out. And finally, at number 10, we have another Australian clothing brand. Their name is Lovann, and they have a heavily vintage inspired aesthetic. Their tagline is "Forget seasons, enjoy collecting," which I love. My wardrobe is all about collecting and curating really beautiful, unique pieces, and I feel like that's what they stand for as well. They don't do seasonal collections, they do just very occasional new pieces, and they all have this vintage inspired old world kind of flair, which I love as well. Very feminine, lots of ruffles, lots of puff shoulders and frills and bows. And they primarily make dresses, I would say, but they do have a few tops and shorts and skirts and things like that as well. There's a few dresses on there that I've had my eye on for over a year now. They have some stunning pieces, and I love that they are still available a whole year later because that is hard to find. But I haven't ordered yet, again, because they're Australian and I'm just a little bit worried about the shipping and duties and things like that. But maybe I'll have to bite the bullet and try them at some point. As research for my channel, I can tell you what I think. Those are all the slow fashion brands I have to share with you today. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you discovered any new brands to you. Are you going to be going and researching and checking out any of the brands mentioned? I would love to know. Let me know if you enjoy these videos and you want more videos on the topic of slow fashion, sustainable fashion. I really love making these because I think it's so important to give these small brands a platform, talk about them. There are so many people on YouTube and on Instagram and online in general talking about big fast fashion names. We really don't need any more of that. I think it's really important to be highlighting these really small brands that are doing things right and doing things well. Please like the video if you did enjoy it. It really does help my channel out. Subscribe if you're not already. I'll also leave a couple of videos on screen if you're not done watching. Otherwise, I hope you're all doing really well, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye!